Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Hope everyone has an amazing day. 3 things I'm thankful for: the tree of strength, the tree of knowledge, and the tree of wisdom. All lies within yourselves. So, something just happened. I have a video that I'm about to upload. As you know, I'm out here walking and everything. And I think I told y'all about a couple of videos back how there was a reef, the same reef that I showed you, that was on the grave, was actually on the sidewalk. And I've been walking past it a couple times, but for some reason today, I walked past it and I stopped. I picked it up. I walked into the grave site, and there was a tombstone that my mind was looking at. And at one point, it was a tombstone I looked at at the beginning of this process. And I was like, maybe I should put the flower there. But then my brain started messing with me because it was something that happened to me today. So I'm not even gonna get into that. I ain't gonna get into that. But put like this: I had a wreath in my hand, and it became symbolic to me. I'm walking with this wreath, and now I'm like, but I don't want to waste this wreath, because flowers are still flowers, even if they're plastic. It's all about how you look at it, because at the end of the day, it had to come from something to be created into something. So I was like, I don't want to waste it on the ground, on the sidewalk, because in one sense, I should have left it there on the sidewalk, but then it would be utilized as trash. I don't want to do that. Then I was in the graveyard. So the graveyard had like 4 different ways you can walk in there. It's like 3 openings, but it's like different ways. And so, yesterday was Veterans Day. So I'm looking at all the flags. And there's 2 churches behind the graveyard. One where it's like a metal type foundation, and one is a brick. And then there was a trash truck that came by. And I'm holding this wreath, and all I hear is death to something. Death to something. But death is life. Death is life. So at one point, I was going to put the wreath by the flagpole. So it was the graveyard for the one person. But then my head was like, that's not fair. You're picking one person over everybody. That's not fair. Then the other part about it was the flagpole. That's the world. When I look at America flag, I think of the entire world. And I was like, maybe it's to the world. You're giving flowers to the world. But at the same time, when I was hearing it, I'm thinking about death. And at that point, when I heard it, because I'm living in 2 worlds at one time, that moment meant so much. Because one is death to either the world or to the church or to life. The other part is to regrow. So I stopped for a second, and I put the wreath on the cement. And then I was standing there like, I'm looking at the ground, and I see that there's grass coming out of the cement on one part, where the grass is coming out of cement in front of me, and then the road is clear. Then the other side, the cement is clear, but then it's grass coming out of cement at the end to the gate. And then it was another side. And I'm sitting here like, okay, what's going on here? Because everything I do matters. The other part of me was going to take the wreath and put it at the brick church. I was going to put it at the brick church. I said no. And I'm standing there. Then there's a guy coming in, and he has a hat on his head with the word faith, and it's in blue. And he had this orange thing underneath. You know how to wrap your hair because it's cold. And he's picking up the flags. I hope y'all can hear me. He's picking up the flags. And I asked him, I said, excuse me. I said, why are you picking up the flags? Because people come in and steal them. And I was like, okay, so I said, he was like, because I only bring them out, you know, for Veterans Day, you know, specific holidays. And in so many ways, I basically was saying, like, so you telling me you don't leave them here all the time? He's like, no. So it made me question him again. I said, well, don't you think it's easier just to come out to replace the ones that was stolen? And it made me think, that's the problem. The problem in the world, we're so worried about people stealing stuff that we don't realize we're still forgetting to acknowledge the people. So it's like in my head I'm thinking, we only gonna acknowledge people on holidays, but we can't acknowledge them all year round. But we so scared that somebody's stealing something from them that's the thing. If someone steals something, right? If someone is stealing a flag, let's just keep it flag. Somebody's stealing a flag. If you notice the flag is stolen, don't you think that means you still love that person, so you're willing to replace the flag again? But if you don't replace the flag and acknowledging them and keep acknowledging them and understand that, hey, I tell you, I'm living 2 different worlds at the same time. I got to talk stuff out, and I'm going to still post this. So I'm going to take it from another point. Tell you, life and death. So at that point, because now I'm hearing it from the other side, and I have to do these things. So I'm like, well, if people keep stealing, and if you come back and you acknowledge that they're there, that means you still love them. Right? Right. But at the same time, it makes you look at life when it comes to our gifts and stuff. We're so scared that people are going to steal our gifts that we hold on tight to them. We hold on to our gifts so tight that they never get used. And I'm not meaning somebody come and use you, but it's like you're dying and nobody noticed you, and you're mad nobody noticed you. But if you didn't provide enough of knowledge in the world for people to remember you, then that's your fault. Because if you have those gifts, no one can steal something if you're busy using them, if you believe in them. And even if someone thinks they stealing something, as long as you acknowledge yourself in the process. So, when it comes to that reef, I was so busy worrying about what path to take that I should have just left the reef where I was so busy focusing what path to take. Should I take the left? Because on one side you see all these tombstones, and there's a little bit on one other side. Then you got the other part, there's a bunch of tombstones, and it was just more than the other side. Then my brain started thinking about, but what about the world? What about the church? What about the... And before you know it, I'm stuck at a crossroad. I'm stuck. Where do I go with? What direction to do? Because if I do this, then that's wrong. If I do that, that's wrong. Hold on a second. Come on. Car moving like they kind of scared. So you get to that point, you don't move, because now you trying to analyze everything. Well, this road had a bunch of stumps in it. It's not a perfect looking road, so I'm not gonna go this route. I'm gonna go on the clean route. But you forget that there's stumps at the end. And then the other road is there's a lot of stumps. I'm gonna have to jump over here, but it's clear on the outside. And then you got the other road where it's just clean. You so focused on the road that you don't even make any movements. Because you're so focused someone going to steal something from you. I put the wreath on the ground because I didn't know where to move. Because I'm trying to make sure that whatever I do balance out. But that's the problem. I was so busy on trying to make sure everyone is balanced out that I didn't move myself, and people stole those things. People stole those things from me because I turned my light off because I was so busy focusing on how it was going to make a difference in the world. So what I did was, after I talked to that guy, I picked the wreath up. I gave it back to myself. I put the wreath on the fence. But I didn't look at it as a fence. Y'all would say it's a cross. I put it at the wood and the ground because I need to make sure that I just focus on making me happy. Continue providing the flowers for me. And whoever sees it is going to acknowledge it. Because as long as I'm talking and as long as I'm using my gifts, no one can steal it from me. But everyone can be able to see the flowers grow. So even if I'm in a world that has a lot of plastic stuff going on and a lot of crazy stuff going on, I don't have to use it. I don't have to abandon things in the world because everything is created from the earth, from within. This is your earth. And if you don't acknowledge it, then how can it grow to be something beautiful? Don't matter how other people utilize it, as long as you acknowledge it. So I had to realize it didn't matter what path I take. I could take them all. I can go down whatever path I want to go. I can maneuver wherever I want to go. Because no matter what lane I choose, it's still mine. Everybody else is just looking from the sideline. That sidewalk where the flowers was thrown at. Everybody been looking from the sidewalk while I was still in my path. So it didn't matter if I go left where the road that there was, easy at one point and it became hard. It doesn't matter if I went down the right where the path had the stumbling blocks in front of me and then things got better. It didn't matter if I go down the path where everything works out perfectly. It's all my paths. And as long as I stay on the road and as long as I acknowledge myself with the flowers, no matter how they look, everybody else got to figure out how to put flowers on their own selves. So when it comes to family, when it comes to friends, when it comes to anything in the world, even when you in the ground, your light can still shine. But if you don't acknowledge yourself by providing the energy, how can you be a resource? So don't allow yourself to focus so much on people taking your gifts. Don't allow yourself to focus so much on people acknowledge you or not. As long as you continue providing positive energy, flowers are always going to be grown. Flowers are always going to be created. The problem is we so busy looking at the flowers that we forgot the trees. They a flower too. So even if they up, or even if they're down, as long as your feet touching the ground, you still the flower that's walking around. So if no one acknowledges you, that ain't nobody's fault but your own. You the one that pay that bill. You the one that have to do the work. You the one that provides the nourishment that you need for your body. You the one that provides all the things that you do. Because if you don't pay attention to the light, don't get caught up in the ground. On that note, y'all have a blessed day.